Lesson 95, combining rational expressions with unlike denominators. We're going to start by practicing finding the least common denominator. So all we have to do right now is find the least common denominator. We're not going to add or subtract at all. We're just going to find what denominator would we need to use. So here's our problem. 5 divided by x minus 2 plus 6 divided by x squared minus x minus 2. So what you want to do is factor. So we want to factor the denominators. So I'm going to come over here and factor this as x minus 2x plus 1. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, which would be my middle term. Then our least common denominator, we want to take 1x minus 2, and we need 1x plus 1. So that would be the least common denominator for these fractions. Example 2, find the least common denominator. So we have 3x divided by x squared plus 8x plus 15 plus 4x divided by 5 parentheses x squared minus 100. So we want to factor both of these denominators. So this first one can factor to be, we need two factors of 15 that add to 8. So we have plus 5 plus 3. And then we need to recognize that the x squared minus 100 is the difference of two squareds, so we can have x minus 10, x plus 10. So all of these factors are different. So our least common denominator, what we need to have in the denominator is a 5, an x plus 5, an x plus 3, an x minus 10, and an x plus 10. So that's what we would need to use in order to add these two fractions together. I'm going to cross these off so you know that that's our new denominator. Okay, once you know how to find the least common denominator, then you can actually get, so the fractions have the same denominator, and then you can add them together. So here's an example. 3x squared divided by x squared minus 9 plus x plus 2 divided by 4x minus 12. So we want to find the least common denominator first. We're going to factor this difference of two squareds to x minus 3x plus 3. The second denominator, we're going to factor out a 4, and we have an x minus 3. So we need our least common denominator. We need a 4, an x minus 3, and an x plus 3. So in the first fraction, we need to multiply this first fraction by 4 over 4. That way we will have our least common denominator that we need. This fraction, the second fraction, we need to multiply by x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. Now we have like denominators. So we're going to go ahead and multiply. 4 times 3x squared is 12x squared divided by 4x minus 3, x plus 3, plus, we have x plus, no, let's multiply those out. We use FOIL, so we have x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 5x plus 6 all over 4, x minus 3, x plus 3. Now we need to add like terms. They both have the same denominator, so we can just add the two numerators together. Leave the denominator the same. 12x squared plus x squared is 13x squared. Then we have plus 5x plus 6. And that is the answer for that. That's what we would leave it as. I'm going to just do one more where we've got to subtract. Okay, so here's example 4, subtract. So here's our two fractions. We have 2x divided by 4x plus 16 minus 3x minus 4 divided by x squared minus 16. We want to start by finding our least common denominator. So we will factor to get 4 times x plus 4. And then this is the difference of two squares. So we have x minus 4, x plus 4. So in our denominators, we need a 4, an x plus 4, and an x minus 4. So the first fraction, we're missing an x minus 4 in the denominator, so let's multiply the numerator and the denominator by x minus 4. And in the second fraction, we are missing a 4. So we'll times this by 4 over 4. Put that in parentheses so I don't forget to distribute. Simplify. So I have this in my denominator, 4 times x minus 4, x plus 4. And in the numerator, I'm going to do 2x times x minus 4. And I need to distribute. So 2x times x is 2x squared minus 2x times 4 is 8x. Now this is my minus sign. I still have the same denominator here now that I multiplied by 4 over 4. And I want to distribute the 4. So I have 4 times 3x is 12x minus 4 times 4, which is 16. I'm going to put that in parentheses because I need to remember, since I'm subtracting, I'm going to subtract both of those terms. So now when I subtract, I leave my denominator the same, and I take 2x squared minus 8x, and I'm going to subtract 12x, and I subtract a negative 16, which is the same thing as adding 16, and I get, simplify by adding negative 8x, negative 12x, I get 2x squared minus 20x plus 16 divided by my common denominator, or my denominator 4, x minus 4, x plus 4. And then I can see in my numerator that all of the terms are even, so I can just factor out a 2 in the numerator. And I get x squared minus 10x plus 8 divided by 4, x minus 4, x plus 4. And I can cancel the 2 and the 4. 2 goes into 2 once and into 4 twice. My final answer is x squared minus 10x plus 8 divided by 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 4. Then I just double check. If I can factor that, I can't get an x plus 4, x minus 4 there, so we can't cancel anything. We're good. This will be your final answer. And that's the end of the lesson.